billion names of pod.
From Atlanta,
Never to be called Hotlanta.
it's the 9 Billion Names of Pod with Dan Bauman and Michael Reed. I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm Skippy McChucklefuck.
So let's talk about some stuff.
We got double stuff today.
We are in the same room.
Dun dun dun.
A thing we haven't done in well over a year, if not longer.
We've licked all the communal doorknobs. We're fully vaccinated and we're ready.
The Lysol stung a bit, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the infrequency of the podcast obviously has been because of the COVID pandemic.
I think we're gonna settle into an interval of maybe once a month, maybe every other week. We're still trying to figure it out.
We're figuring it out. We're gonna try to do more than we have, but
And at the very least, more regularly.
yes, for sure.
Because our two listeners demand it.
Yes,
they
both of those
demand
guys.
it.
Mike and Anthony, they both demand.
Shout out Big Tone!
Hey, so what's up? How's it going?
Yeah, you know, the Supreme Court can eat my ass.
Oh, jeez.
But then, previous to the recent things, they can have ice cream out of my ass because they did the right thing.
Yeah.
So it's more like, all right, we're going to fuck them over here, but we're going to give them a little reach around over here. And like, all right, well, you know, I just hope Breyer retires next year.
Okay. I'm not familiar with what your
Stephen Breyer is the oldest liberal on the court,
mm-hmm.
and he's been getting pressured to leave,
Okay.
and he didn't, which is fine. Now that we know where he stands on quote-unquote being pressured, there is another opportunity after, you know, the next session of the court closes in July of next year,
Mm-hmm.
Or end of June of next year, to have him retire. So in the interim, dear Democrats, shut the fuck up. He doesn't want his retirement to be political. And the more you yammer on about he really should retire, you're making it political, which means he's going to go ahead and stay on. And God forbid the midterms turn out where Snappy McTurtleface takes over the majority in the Senate. And he's already said he will not put through a Biden. It'll be Merrick Garland all over again. So shut the fuck up. May Clarence Thomas not die in his sleep. Maybe die screaming. I'm not a vengeful dick. Not at all.
No.
And maybe we might have 2 appointments, very shortly. But yeah, that aside from that, puppies and kittens everywhere. I really wish I could be like Dr. Manhattan and populate,
Mars.
No, populate a number of these states and all of them vote.
Hell yeah.
No, I'm Manhattan version 7500. But what's going on with you?
Stuff. Working back in the aquarium. Getting excited. Shark Week, you know how it is. 4th of July. Yes, if you hear anything that sounds like explosions possibly in the background, we're recording this on Independence Day.
Literally on the 4th.
On the 4th of July.
You don't get to hear it until, September or October when you finally get around to listening to it. I'm talking to you. You know who you are. You're catching up on your podcast right now, and you're listening to this way past the due date. But that's okay. We're here for you, no matter whether you listen to it right as we release it or when you get around to it.
Yeah.
Our podcasts are evergreen.
I'm sure.
Listen to those first couple of ones, and my yammering about X, Y, and Z turned out to be 100% my yammering.
About how great that Avengers movie is going to be.
I hear Avengers are probably going to do okay.
It's going to do all right.
It might be somewhat popular, I want to talk about, since we segued into Marvel, we got to talk about Loki.
Yeah, you caught up?
I'm caught up.
Yep.
Okay. it took a while to build this particular part of the universe out to where I started like, oh, okay, I really care, rather than what kind of shenanigans are Loki gonna get in? Is Loki gonna get into?
I think from we just past episode 4, I want to say
that's the turning point.
That's the turning point
where you're like, oh, I get it.
See, from what I understand, going back a little bit, from what I have a friend who works at Disney Marvel and knows some stuff, and he was telling me,
well, look at me, Dan Bauman, knowing people who do things.
Yes, I'm lucky that way.
Let me talk about Harlan Ellison.
Right.
All right, what's your guy have to say?
Well, he mentioned to me that the original release, the way it was originally supposed to be released, was Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to be released first. And due to COVID, they were not able to finish out the episodes. So they pushed WandaVision first. And in my opinion, that was the best thing that could have happened to Marvel since Avengers.
Because that is, of the 3 series, at least Loki so far, that is the vastly superior one, and was the first entry of Marvel into a full television show.
Right.
And people went, I don't know, Marvel TV? Oh, okay, Marvel's great.
Plus, other than, the actual handing over the mantle to Sam, Falcon and Winter Soldier was a little flabby.
It had some good action scenes. The bit about the black Captain America was very poignant and very important. And if I give Falcon and the Winter Soldier a solid B, but without that storyline in there, it would have dropped to maybe C+.
Now imagine if the last thing we had seen was Avengers Endgame, and then we get that series, and it's like, oh, more just superhero nonsense. Whereas WandaVision drops, and everyone was like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
Complete left turn, complete sidestep, doing something else, and I think they got lucky that way.
Yeah.
And with Loki, now they can kind of really branch off. There was the little scene when they went back in time in Endgame when he got the Tesseract and he disappeared, and I was like, there it is. That's how they're going to do it. And and there it was. And Loki, if spoilers.
If you have not been completely caught up on Loki up to, I think it's like you said, episode 4.
Yeah, it's episode 4.
Just fast forward.
We're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it. It's been out for a couple of days, 3-4 days. By the time you hear this, almost a week.
Right.
Of course, by the time you actually listen to this, Loki will be on season 2. Yeah. So
the weird Wednesday drop thing is odd.
I've noticed a lot of these shows, are dropping at weird times, and it's almost like they're branching out from. Remember the day that albums always dropped?
It used to be Tuesdays.
Yep, always Tuesdays.
And then they moved it to Friday.
Now it's Tuesday, it's Friday, it's whatever.
Right.
There's no given. Like if you went outside of Tuesday, it would have been, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
And now it's like, oh, you're adhering to the old one. That's fine. We're doing this day.
Right.
Well, it's because they want to build up enough sales for the reporting for Billboard.
Correct.
And that's why. Now...
Well, it was like when the holiday weekend for movie box office was started on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday night, right after midnight.
Tuesday midnight was when they started counting the weekend box office.
And, of course, nowadays, at least with music, you drop something on a Friday, it could have, 5 million streams before the next reporting date.
Yeah.
And streams do count towards your towards your album sales total. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. But I think and I might be wrong about this, but I think the reason that they're dropping it on Wednesday is because on Fridays they're dropping the new the Star Wars animated show, The Bad Batch. So I don't know if they wanted like 2 things competing onto like 2 things dropping on Fridays as opposed to now there's a thing on a Wednesday and a Friday.
Not featuring the voice talents of
Tamora Morrison.
No. Isn't that the one that Gina, what's her name, was supposed to be voicing?
No.
Or was she into something else?
Yes, that was that. That was theoretically, there's in coming up in the slate. There was a show called Rangers of the New Republic.
Oh, is that her?
Yeah.
Okay.
And no one really knows what it was supposed to be. It was just the title that was released, and everyone assumed, oh, it's going to be Cara Dune in the thing. No, this is a spinoff of the Clone Wars, and it's D. Bradley Baker, the brilliant voice actor, playing 7 characters in every episode. He's playing the Bad Batch and like random other characters.
Dear quality voice actors, you're getting Stand by Dan.
Yeah, well, him
Dan
especially.
the Stan.
He's brilliant. He was Klaus on American Dad, and he took over for Frank Welker, where he was the guy who does all the weird animal noises now.
You know what? You find your niche. I've been told for years that you should do radio. You have a voice to do this, and I've come to learn that if I were to pursue something in the voice era, it would be more character stuff.
Sure.
Because I took a crack at doing some voiceover stuff.
Yeah.
And it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
When I come down to Toyotathon. No.
And that's a special, I've taken a couple of voiceover classes, and it's a definite skill that you have to, there's like different styles.
I have never been more aware of my breathing in my life. I tried for the first time, I'm like, I'm going to knock this out of the park. By the second sentence, like, come down to Toyotathon. Because I couldn't, I didn't know where to breathe and how to, it takes some skill. Just be glad that Ming-Na Wen did not mouth off about something horrible, so she had to get drummed out of...
and she's on the Bad Batch. She's playing...
Oh, is she?
She's playing Fennec Shand, a younger version of herself. So
lovely. Well,
I was like, ooh,
I need that Book of Boba Fett, baby.
Yeah.
I need that. Could you imagine if they do a 1-2 punch by dropping that and... 3 of the Mandalorian. I don't think they're going to do that.
I don't believe they've started shooting Mando 3 yet.
Oh, really?
I think I think Boba Fett's going to take that slot. And you haven't watched it yet, but I'm hoping that they do an offshoot, that the Bad Batch, this animated show, is like a backdoor prequel to Boba Fett because of certain things that happened in there. It's like they could pull that character all the way around and bring it into Boba Fett. So that's cool stuff. All
right,
swinging all the way back to Loki. This last episode,
Time Lizards.
Yeah, the Time Lizards, which are actually robots.
I can just see whoever put the thing together, like, all right, what are we gonna do? The time, gas entity? No. How about pandas? No, too cuddly. Lizards then.
Yeah, lizards are creepy.
Yeah, let's go with lizards.
Well,
solder. Connect.
And I was very surprised because
they actually showed the fucking thing. They actually
showed them in episode 4, and I'm like, wait a second.
I mean, you don't have a chamber filled with mist or gas or whatever the fuck is in there going, all right, this is going to be something that we're never going to really see. It's just
it's the finale.
It's going to be Norm's wife, You might hear a voice, but you'll never see.
You'll never see.
And then all of a sudden we saw, and then I'm like, oh goddamn, she's just going to go and kill one of them immediately.
Yep.
And she quote did unquote.
And now we're into a different part of the story where it's
like who's behind this? I got no fucking idea.
No.
I think I do have one idea.
Okay.
I think the TVT was created. TVA, sorry.
Yeah.
TVT. That's that record label out of Chicago. Sorry. The TVA was created by Loki.
Very possibly.
Yeah.
Very possibly.
I think it's going to come around to where we're going to find a Loki variant, or we've been going on an adventure with an actual Loki variant, and then the actual Loki for real shows up, and I did this to contain, so...
Yeah, that's a good thing.
And that would be a nice twist.
Well, it's so weird because, what like, is there a Loki Prime? Is there like the Loki, and everything else is a variant, or is everything just a variant? Is it just dimensions? Because we are definitely leaning towards the multiverse theory.
Right. Well, that's going to get explored, I think, with the next Marvel film.
Doctor Strange.
Right.
Yeah, Doctor Strange in the multiverse, and it's going to be tied back into WandaVision with Scarlet Witch.
Right.
And
if you want to, blow people's minds, let's blow people's minds, shall we?
Bam.
Multiple dimensions and then multiple variants across the dimensions.
Yeah.
So holy shit.
Well,
you could be on Earth 17 but dealing with Loki 47, but Loki Prime is on Earth 7.
Well, the last scene,
it hurts.
The mid-credit scene of this last episode was all kinds of Loki variants,
yes.
And the inimitable Richard E. Grant was playing the comic book Loki, which was just brilliant.
I had to look it up.
I saw it in the credits, and I spun back and watched. I was like, "Shit, that is Richard E. Grant."
What was he credited as, like original Loki,
something like that, yeah,
or OG Loki?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And of course, pretty much anything with Richard E. Grant, except for that last TV show he did with Jason Segel, which was
okay. No, I've never saw it.
I can't even remember the name of it, but I watched the whole thing, and it flirted with possible brilliance, like it was gonna get somewhere, and it just petered out into nothingness. It was not good.
Well, he had the relationship with Disney through he was in the Rise of Skywalker,
right?
And so I mean, they might have just
he's been brilliant for
everything. He's one of those guys where it's like, it's that guy.
We need a Richard E. Grant kind of character. Why don't we get Richard E. Grant for that?
Yeah.
Like, is he available? He does anything.
Yeah,
because he's good. And
he's an actor. That's what he does. I love the fact, and this goes back to WandaVision as well, that Marvel is not only acknowledging but poking fun at the comic book costumes. The Halloween episode of WandaVision, where they were in their comic book accurate original costumes, was brilliant. And then spinning it into her new Scarlet Witch costume, which was like, they fucking made it work. They took the dopey crown and they made it work. And bringing in Richard E. Grant as whatever it is, Loki Prime or whatever, in the old school yellow and green with the big helmet. Oh my God!
And that's one of those nods. Like I said, for people who don't know, it's like, oh, all right, whatever. For people who know, are losing their fucking minds.
Yeah.
They're bouncing out of their seats and cheering like other people would do when their team made a touchdown.
Yeah, there was in that shot. I think there was a kid Loki, and he was holding. I think it was an alligator Loki, and that's a thing. Loki would do that. There's a whole run where Thor got turned into a frog by Loki. So the Thor frog is a thing in the canon.
And who knows, maybe that's alligator Thor.
Yeah, exactly.
And, so it's they have my attention now.
Yeah.
I mean, there was never any doubt that I was going to stop watching, but whether I was going to start at some point watching enthusiastically.
Yeah.
Where with Wanda, right from the beginning, enthusiasm, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Wow.
I tried. I
actually said the right title instead of Falcon and the
Snowman.
And the Snowman. Yeah. I slipped on that so many times to the point of like, what? Can we just put that in there? Anyway.
Well, I do love the fact the way. So they're chasing a Loki. They're chasing Loki. And they just gender flipped it and cast an actress or an actor, a female actor, as Loki instead of like CGing to Tom Hiddleston's. And why not?
As soon as you saw the Loki variant being chased and it was cloaked and everything, it's like, all right, there's a reveal coming up that
yes, for sure.
It's.
And I was is it gonna be Loki? Why?
I didn't think it was gonna be Loki. I did not anticipate a female.
No,
but
she's great. She's excellent.
Oh, yes.
Sophia DiMartino, I want to say her name is.
I don't know her name, but I will definitely be checking to see what else she has done and will do. Yep. That's one of the great things about being so steeped in film and television. You'll be watching and you'll be like going, oh my God, that's that person that had a tiny role 25 years ago in one of my favorite films, and they're still, hey,
yeah,
good to see you, friend.
Yeah. And it's fun to go back and watch older movies and go like, oh my God, there's so and 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 so, and I've realized that,
I just got finished watching a 1952 Bing Crosby film.
Okay.
And his daughter, she was, I don't know, I guess around 14, 15, and I'm hearing that voice. I'm going, something seems familiar. Her face looks kind of... I looked at it. Oh, it was Natalie Wood. That's like, was Natalie Wood alive in the 50s? Like, yeah, she's a lot older than than I thought she was.
Did she die in the 70s or 80 or 80?
I think in the early 80s.
Yeah,
I think
because I was in grade school.
Richard Wagner, what do you do? No, I don't.
Walk in.
Oh, you know about
I know he was on the boat.
He was on the boat.
He's
been dancing ever since. Not me. Let's flip it to the dark side of comics. Poor DC.
Okay, yeah.
They have a bright spot. We've talked about it a little bit before, I believe.
Okay.
It's the animated Harley Quinn.
Indeed.
My God! Since we last spoke,
have you finished it?
I finished series 2.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yes.
I mean, have you started watching?
I saw the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh, you've seen the whole thing. Oh,
yeah. It's been out a long time.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm new to it.
Well, I had it when I used to have the DC app before it got swallowed by HBO, so I watched it.
Are you mocking me? I will blow you up.
No. Of course not.
I got to work on my Bane voice because I fucking love Bane in this.
Oh my God.
I mean, he is the perfect comic relief because there's one Bane-centric episode, but all the others, he just jumps in, does his little Bane thing, and then he fucks off.
He's basically Milton from Office Space.
Yes. I was told there'd be explosion. I was told there'd be explosion. Yeah. Oh my God.
And it's taking the piss out of Tom Hardy so hard. It's so funny.
It's like that episode of The Simpsons with Quillaby, which was an absolute it destroyed Morrissey. And I mean, it really.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they barely changed anything.
Yeah.
And at the end, they turned him into a, she was Lisa. You've seen the episode, right?
I think so.
Lisa discovers an old album by whatever they called the Smiths in this. I can't remember the name. Whatever.
The Joneses or something.
Yeah, something like that. And she fell in love with the sound and Quillaby, and then she fantasized and he spoke to her and they had adventures and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, he just everything is depressing and gray, and and it's pretty much Morrissey.
Yeah. At
least through his lyrics. He is a rather sad fuck.
Yes.
And then in real life, the band is reuniting, which the Smiths will never do.
Right.
And they're appearing in Springfield, so they go to the show, and he comes out big.
Yeah.
He is big.
Yeah.
Eating a hamburger and using a t-shirt gun to shoot sausages. It was all up front, and I was like, I wonder if Morrissey has noticed. Internet. Oh, he's noticed.
Oh, he noticed.
He noticed
almost
big time.
immediately. Yes.
And it was so goddamn blatant.
Yeah.
And there was no hiding it. Whoever wrote that episode, first of all, is probably British or a big Anglophile and really wrote it for the UK market.
You think?
Because he's still a thing over there, big time.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll Morrissey doesn't sell shit over here. I mean, people will come to see shows here. Like, I want to hear Smith songs. Like, all right, you might hear some. But over there, he's still a going concern.
Right.
And he's gotten more sad. And I'm not going to say he's a Nazi, but God, he's very...
Well, he won't perform... I remember there was something where
in a venue where they serve meat.
Yeah, something.
And he's had to back down on any number of occasions because, no... We're selling our hot dogs. We're selling our nachos with chicken and stuff like that. And on one hand, as a vegetarian, I can respect you trying to get that to happen.
Sure.
But it's not.
You're not going to play anywhere.
I mean, yeah. Well, it's, I have great respect for vegetarians because they can do something that I cannot. You know, I dated my first girlfriend I lived with was a vegetarian, and she was very respectful. You know, she did her thing. She didn't proselytize to me, but I tried. No.
Yeah.
You know,
that's fine.
It's and that's a failing on my part because there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
I just, you know, the planet would definitely be better off if we didn't raise, you know,
for sure.
Animals.
We've cut our meat intake down considerably, and would lean, you know, maybe eventually vegan, but I don't think we could get there.
Well, vegan, I mean, that gets rid of dairy products as well.
Yeah, all animal products, and that's where you get real. It just gets harder to eat, you know, to eat anything after a while.
If I can't have bacon, I gotta have some cheese. But again, look where that's gotten me. Yep. It all happened during the pandemic.
That's what it is.
That's it. Just the pandemic. I was 210 and svelte and looking like a rock star before the pandemic, and damn, look what happened to me. So the reason I bring up Harley Quinn, as we get back on topic,
yes,
is because they're working on series 3 now.
Okay.
And
yes.
And apparently DC has stepped in.
Finally was like, all right, hold on. And I am so angry about it. Go ahead.
Let me explain to people what it is for those who don't know. It got out that apparently DC stepped in on one of the scripts.
If you haven't seen the show, there is chaos and murder and like
swear
words and all kinds of horrible things.
Superheroes having sex. It's not for kids.
No, not at all.
It's not for kids. Yeah. It's not for kids. It's not even like Family Guy, not for kids. This goes beyond.
This is hard R.
This is hard R animation for adults.
Yes.
But DC stepped in and nixed a storyline in series 3 where Batman goes down on Catwoman.
Yeah.
And the quote that was pulled out was that DC said, "Heroes don't do that." And the entire universe said, "Yes, they do."
Quite the opposite.
And you're not a hero if you don't.
Exactly.
This isn't 68 and I'll owe you one.
Yeah.
This is, come on, let's be
sex positive.
And I don't know where that's going to shake out because of the reaction.
The only thing I can see coming out of it is an even funnier
a nod
joke.
to it. Yeah. A nod to it. Oh, yes.
There's going to be some kind of reference to it. It's so weird to let that was their line. That was the thing.
Oh.
I don't know if it was just okay, we got to have some control. We have to give some notes.
I mean, obviously, I'm 99.9% sure it wasn't literally, we're going to show animated vagina. No, that was never going to be the case. That's not what they do. But it's going to be alluded to, or it'll be shot from an angle where, it'll be a thing. But apparently DC said, nah. And wow. I mean, that's... what was the show that nodded? Oh, didn't Firefly every once in a while nod to being, like approaching cancellation? God, what was the show that constantly...
Oh, it was Arrested Development.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. They constantly would nod to their imminent
low
demise
ratings
or low rating. And they
kept getting low ratings on the condos they were building or something to that effect. Yeah.
But the condos are so good. How can they get such low ratings? Yeah. They've won all these awards. Yes. They're award-winning condos.
Yes.
Right. And where shows break the fourth wall but without breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
I love that. It's like they open a window in that fourth wall. And
it's like, we know, you know what we're talking about.
Exactly. Exactly. So,
DC, they've got a bunch of stuff going right now that
I don't give a shit. I'm sorry.
Shazam 2, okay, that'll be fun. I enjoyed Shazam a lot. It was a good movie. It was a good DC movie. Yeah,
all right.
But I'm not lining up. I am very looking forward to, and it's soon. It's in a couple of weeks. James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay, yes.
That's dropping.
I've seen the trailer. I'm interested.
Yep, and I'm sure he's held back because it's gonna be nuts.
I hope so.
His tagline, what he keeps saying his tagline for the movie is "Don't get attached," because he's gonna kill a lot of those characters.
I think the only character we know is not gonna die is Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn and maybe Idris Elba's character, Bloodsport. Maybe the only
and we get King Shark.
We get King Shark.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
and he's in the animated one too.
Yep.
Voiced by Ron Funches, which is, I mean, if Bane wasn't in the show, that would be my favorite 100%, character.
Yeah.
Oh my god, King Shark is the fucking best.
Oh my god, and Ron Funches is just absolutely brilliant. And he was in. They had a show on NBC that only made maybe 8 episodes called Powerless. That was set in the DC universe.
Oh yeah, in the corporate office.
In the corporate office, where they would kind of clean up messes, and it was Alan Tudyk as Bruce Wayne's stupid cousin, and what's her name, Vanessa Hudgens. But Ron Funches was on there, but he was Atlantean, and he, they kept making Atlantis jokes, and he would get very offended by them. But yeah, he plays King Shark absolutely brilliantly because he's got that kind of dainty voice until he starts screaming about "I will eat you."
Oh yeah, that's. Yeah, I fucking love Ron Funches and pretty much anything that especially when he's on guest panels or guest on
because he's a sniper. He'll just drop something in the middle of
he'll come up with some good shit.
Yeah.
Long awaited.
Yes.
We finally have a release date.
Okay.
For something that is I think is being done correctly because they're taking this and splitting it into 2 films.
Okay.
Dune.
Yes.
They're finally doing Dune, and they're giving it the fucking breathing room it needs. Because if it ain't going to be a 10-part miniseries, the least you can do is give it a minimum of 2 movies.
So
really,
around 5 hours-ish.
Yeah, I'd say about 2.
They're not going to do a Lord of the Rings 4 extended cut for each movie.
It doesn't have that kind of a fan base.
Right.
To where they can get away with that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the movie exhibitors really cry when you have
showings,
films because it's less showings, and it also helps your first week's gross.
Yeah.
Because if you only have X number of showings,
that's all you can
your
get.
dollar take is not going to be as high as
Simple
it could.
math, yeah.
A 90-minute film, boom, 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 you can.
But here, is it Disney or am I mistaken?
Yes.
I can't remember if Disney's doing it because they are dropping what they've been doing. Are they going to double up? Are they going to put it in theaters and drop it streaming? Because theaters are back open.
No, I don't think they're going to drop it streaming.
They're doing Black Widow. They're doing Black Widow.
Yeah, I saw that.
On Disney Plus for the premiere money, and it's like $30 for at home. I'd much rather go to a theater like that. I want to see in a theater.
For Black Widow?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I miss seeing big stupid Marvel movies on screen.
Yeah, that's true. It's a Warner Brothers joint.
Okay, so
Dune is obviously
okay.
Dune.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's
so that might be HBO Max then, because WB is in bed with HBO.
Right.
Like they're dropping Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I just looked it up. They are getting a simultaneous. It's going to be on the streaming service for only 31 days, though.
That's what they do. They drop it on HBO Max for a month in theaters, and then it comes back a couple of months later. The movie, the one we saw was Judas and the Black Messiah. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I've not seen that yet, but
you should.
I definitely want to see it.
Fucking fantastic. Oh my God, Daniel Kaluuya was amazing.
Well, he's pretty fucking genius in everything he does.
Yes.
You know who else is really genius? I've come to really, really like Daveed Diggs.
Yes.
I mean, I wasn't gonna watch Snowpiercer.
Oh, is he on that? Okay.
Yeah, he's the main character. Oh. Him and Jennifer Connelly.
Okay.
I watched it because of Jennifer Connelly. No, she's still,
oh, yes.
She's a solid actress.
For sure.
Very easy on the eyes, but solid actress. I went,
yeah.
This is interesting because a lot of these big movie stars are trickling down into television, and usually it's pretty premiere shit. They're not, most of them are not jumping into the latest, crappy CBS sitcom. They're doing some premiere limited series. I mean, you got Streep to do a thing, the second series of Secret Tiny Whispers, whatever the fuck that thing.
Yeah. She did both seasons of that, yeah.
No. Just one.
Just one?
Yeah,
okay.
She did the second one. She came in as the mother of the person who died.
And that was like Jennifer Jason Leigh and wasn't that?
No.
What am I thinking of? No, Amy Adams.
No. Reese Witherspoon.
That's what it was. Yes, yeah.
Nicole Kidman.
Right.
Lenny Kravitz's daughter.
Yeah.
She stepped up.
She's playing Catwoman in the next Batman movie.
Oh, that's a good bit of casting.
It is a good casting. Yeah, they've done that. Catwoman is they're starting to write her or portray her as either African American or Hispanic now, which is I'm totally down for. There's
no rule that says she has to be anything.
Yeah.
So don't need another damn white woman doing everything. let's branch out and get some casting happening.
But David Diggs, I mean, if you watched Hamilton, I mean, he was brilliant in Hamilton.
A master. Oh, the reason I bring it up is because he is a voice on an Apple show called Central Park.
Okay,
that's
I have
Josh.
not seen
that's
that, yeah.
Josh Gad's joint.
Musical thing, right?
Yes, lots of songs.
Yep.
I mean, whereas like certain like Bob's Burgers, like every other episode, you might get a song or something at the end.
Yeah.
This one, there's like 3 to 4 songs per episode.
Right.
And they're pretty solid. And David Diggs plays a female, a la Bob's Burgers, and all right.
Yeah. Linda,
all right. God, I love Linda. And did a rap in the last episode that just straight up Hamilton style.
Nice.
I mean, and it was good.
Yeah.
Not just like, biting on Hamilton like, that doesn't work. It worked.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if I checked the credits and find out like, oh, Lin-Manuel Miranda did that.
Wouldn't be surprised
for a thing, because he does everything now.
Yeah.
Sorry about the In the Heights, man.
Sorry about what?
It bombed.
I'm not surprised. I mean,
bombed.
I'm not surprised. We haven't seen it yet. We're going to hopefully catch it this week. I'm not surprised. It's a musical. It's a a movie based on a musical, and those historically don't do well anyway.
Chicago, Les Miserables.
Les Miserables didn't blow the world up.
Well, it didn't blow the world. Got an Academy Award out of it and some decent box office.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's few and far between. This is not MGM in 1955,
right?
Where cha everything. You know.
I know. Speaking of those, I know they're definitely finally doing Wicked. And they're filming it here in Atlanta. And I told Courtney...
Have you strapped Courtney down?
I told her a restraining order is fine, but not to get arrested. And I'm going to reach out to any casting people I know, and I know a couple, just to see, please, if you hear about extras casting for that movie, for God's sake, let me know. Because that would be
solid
for Courtney.
Because even if you can't see yourself on screen, you were there.
Just to be part of that.
Yeah.
No, I get it. They're also... Eric Idle is finally doing Spamalot.
They're doing
They're doing a film of Spamalot. They had it all in place before the pandemic, and then he just said on Twitter a month or two ago, I saw that it's like the machine is ramping up again to start.
The machine is ramping up to beat that dead horse one more time.
Yeah, he'll fully admit.
Well,
that.
I mean, he wrote that music.
Yeah,
so pimp that shit out as best you can. And I'll tell you, if we can even get a vague cameo from any of the remaining Pythons, I would love it.
That would be pretty great.
That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, that would be pretty great. I think they would, he could probably get Palin for sure. He could probably get all of them, to be honest. Cleese would do it, and
Gilly might do a thing.
Yeah, Gilliam might.
If it's like one day on set just to,
I'm trying to think of, because I've listened to the musical. No, I saw it. I saw the show.
I saw it on Broadway.
Oh,
but not with
Tim Curry.
Not with Tim Curry. He had already gone by that at that point. That was when I went to go visit Jared and Casey in New York, and couldn't get in to see the Daily Show or the Colbert Report. They said you could probably show up and get into the Daily Show, unless there's like a really big guest. You got a good shot at it. And it turned out the day I went, no big guest, just Robin fucking Williams. So no seats were available.
I actually did get to see The Daily Show, like kind of before, like in the first couple of years of Jon Stewart, before it really became political. Yeah, and
What? Before it came, it was always political.
Right, but before it like really became...
Before it took off.
Yeah.
Right. Well, before it was just kind of smarmy, it was Craig Kilborn
The
thing.
coolest thing was the guest. I think it was Sandra Bernhard was the guest, but the musical guest was a young, I want to say Brazilian singer who was backed up by a guy named John Paul Jones.
What?
From Led Zeppelin, yes. And it was very cool to have been in the room.
Now, I can say I've seen a Beatle live. I have never seen... Hold it, have I? Have I ever seen... No. No, I've never seen...
Zeppelin?
I've never seen a Plant live show, and I don't think John Paul... Nope, never seen a Led Zeppelin.
So that was the closest, for me. It's like... Oh, holy crap. John Paul Jones. No idea. A friend of mine was like, hey, I got tickets to the Daily Show. You want to go? And I was like, oh, all right, sure. And there you go.
That's a good memory to have.
It was pretty good.
That's one of those things that I look back on and go, God damn it. I love you, Robin. Why couldn't you come another night and just had, dumbass McGee in there as a guest because they couldn't get anyone good and nobody wanted to go, and I could have... Because I didn't care who the guests were. I didn't give a crap about it. I just wanted to be in the audience at the Daily Show.
That's why I went and saw Craig Ferguson's show.
So did I.
Yeah, I saw him pre-Jeff.
Jeff was there when I was there.
No, it was a year or two before they brought Jeff on.
The guest was the lead from Orange is the New Black, Taylor Schilling, I think her name is.
Yeah.
And it... One thing I learned about, it was my first time at a late night talk,
Yep.
The warm-up, that guy was aggressive. By the time it was, I need you to really move
I was
it up.
exhausted.
I know.
By the time the show actually
He had
aired.
whooped us into a frenzy for like 45 minutes. And at the end,
it was like 2 hours for Ferguson.
I just wanted to
It's like, I'm not excited anymore. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, you're angering me.
Yeah, our guest was, I'll tell you, here's my Craig Ferguson story that I was angry about. Yeah. The guest was Pepe the King Prawn from the Muppets.
Oh!
Which was awesome because, the Muppeteer.
It's a Muppet.
It's a Muppet.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. But they were doing all he was explaining the guests and who doesn't, and it was Pepe and somebody else, some actress, and the musical guest. And I believe it was the band The Charlatans UK. Okay?
Oh.
So
the Charlatans performing in America where they release their records as Charlatans UK.
Okay. Yep. So.
All right. Just making sure that's clear.
I'm looking at the set and I'm going, okay, there's the desk. That wall must open up, and that's where the band is. And we get to the segment, and he holds up a CD, and he's like, all right, everyone, Charlatans UK.
Cut.
Beat. All right, that was a Charlatans UK, everybody. And I'm like, no band.
Nope.
They filmed it
earlier
or tomorrow or whatever. Was like,
that's exactly
it. Are you
it.
kidding me?
When I was there,
not that I know that band anything, but I was like, what a ripoff.
The door opened up, and it was Secretariat.
Oh,
the Dancing Horse.
The Dancing Horse.
I got Jeff. I got the Dancing Horse. Great day for America, everyone. Throws the chocolate coins or the candy out at the audience. And Anthony and I were in the first 2 or 3 rows, so, got hit in the head with the candy.
I don't think we got candy, but
people were going for it. Like, no, that's okay.
Need any more candy.
Look, there's some on the floor. Yeah, floor candy. No.
No thanks. Even if
this isn't
TV
Naked
floor candy.
That's what they did at Naked City. You ever been to Naked City?
I think I did go once, yeah.
They don't just throw candy at you. They projectiled it at your face.
Lobbed.
They aimed for the back of the room, the long, narrow room, and everyone along the way, get out of the way because the candy's coming at your head.
Yep.
So, anyway, I want to talk about one great thing.
Okay.
And one horrible thing, and then one also horrible thing.
Okay, I've got a good thing after that. So.
Okay, let me hit you with one too. Hey, everybody, Donald Rumsfeld is dead.
He sure is.
And I couldn't be more thrilled.
Yeah.
The only thing I could be more thrilled about is that if he had died horribly, like so many Iraqi civilians in the war that he drug America's blood and treasure across for and never apologized for.
No.
That's it. That's all I got to say about that.
All right.
Fuck him, and
fair enough.
It's I hope hell is very hot.
Yep.
Someone did a dummy Donald Rumsfeld tweet like, "Oh God, it's so hot down here. Fuck."
Yeah.
Also, on his way, but not quite there yet, is another person who was just released from prison on a technicality. Not found innocent.
No.
Not, oh my gosh, we found evidence that you're not guilty. No, a procedural thing.
Where they had made a deal that he couldn't be prosecuted on.
We're talking about Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
After 3 years in prison, he was released because in a civil trial prior to his criminal trial, the DA or one of the associate prosecutors said, give evidence in the civil trial. We won't prosecute you criminally.
Yeah.
And in the civil trial, says, yeah, I drugged women that I wanted to have sex with.
Yeah.
And then they used that in the criminal trial, and he's like, hey, you told me I couldn't be prosecuted. Which, first of all, why the fuck would you say that to anybody, prosecutor to Cosby? But at the same time, we may have never had any evidence, out of Cosby's mouth that he did it.
Yeah.
Because he thought he was protected. Turns out he was. At least he got 3 years in prison before.
That's...
Oh, no, that's not nearly enough.
I know.
But what I'm saying
it's
is that the way that it worked, because if he hadn't been told that, he wouldn't have given he wouldn't have actually spoke out loud on the record, yeah, I did it, as opposed to keeping quiet. And yes, in the scheme of things, I guess that's the way the law should work. But let's put it this way. We all know what he did.
Yeah, when someone admits to a crime, there has to be some kind of repercussion.
Right.
That they are accused of by 60 plus women.
Oh, yeah. Even if it's just one woman.
Yes.
But the preponderance.
Overwhelming.
This
evidence.
vast conspiracy of 60 disparate women across 40 years, all of a sudden they all got together and go, let's get Cosby. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
And like I said, even if it was one woman, no, bullshit.
Yeah.
So, hey, thank you for Fat Albert and the Cosby Show.
You
and
did
stuff
some
like
brilliant
that.
comedy, but
you know what?
Go die in a hole.
Hitler painted roses. Good for him.
Yeah.
It makes no fucking difference whatsoever.
Yep.
And lastly, on the fuck, but not on that level of fuck. One of my favorite shows is not getting a second series.
What's a?
They've canceled Lovecraft Country.
Really?
Fucking Lovecraft Country.
Wow, that thing was hot for a minute.
Oh, it's hot. It's still hot.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't delved into exactly why. I don't know if they couldn't. I think they ran through the book.
Okay.
So anything beyond that, they'd have to create.
Yeah.
Kind of like with Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
We know how that ended up. So maybe everyone involved said, we're going to let the book stand. And
did it? I didn't watch it. Did it resolve? No, I didn't watch it. It's on the ever present list, but
no, there's things out there that needs to be
resolved. Okay.
And they've set up a universe that could have spun off movies. I mean, it was just brilliant.
Well, that's Lovecraft himself has been woefully underutilized. I mean,
woefully underutilized, but also he's a horrible shit. I mean,
yes, he was a monster as well.
Anti-Semitic, anti-black. Pretty much, white guy.
Right.
He's a cis white motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know how they can be. But I haven't delved into why it was canceled.
Okay.
It could very much be like an HBO Watchmen situation where we've told our story.
Yeah, we don't want to do it.
We're not going to do it just for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
I can respect that, but if it was something over some kind of, quibble about this or that, I know what a quibble is, but it's a really big
it's
quibble.
A bad quibble,
when a quibble goes supernova, it becomes a quabble. But no, it's not happening. And it was like 95% black cast.
Yeah.
It was telling, black stories from a cocked perspective in Lovecraft country where, shit goes down.
Yeah.
But it examines race from a number of different perspectives. And it was fascinating to watch. Kind of like the show Them. Have you heard about this one?
I've heard of it. I don't know what it is.
Oh my God. When you think of Compton, what comes to mind?
NWA.
Okay. Because they were straight out of that location.
Yes.
A very black neighborhood in Los Angeles. Yeah. Not so in the mid-50s. This show is premised on a black family that moves to Compton into a house that may or may not be cursed, and the things that the neighbors do to drive them out. I mean, straight up N-wording them to their face, which apparently happened a lot back in the
50s
and stuff like that. Thank God I wasn't alive during that time.
Yeah.
And it takes the supernatural element as a personification of racism and how African Americans deal with it. Mm-hmm. It's so hard to explain, but it is so goddamn. It's
sounds tough. Yeah,
it's a tough watch. It's horrifying. I mean, I can imagine, filming that and cut, and the white actors just going, oh God, and like, I can't believe I just said these words.
Yeah.
Because it's
vile.
It's absolutely vile. And the way they take how this African American family deals with racism amongst all these other things, and it twists into a supernatural element. And it is supernatural. I mean, it's, there's some shit going down. I'm not going to give anything away. But it's one of those ones where, it's only, I think, 8 episodes, maybe 10.
Okay.
And a lot of times, I'll crack open a 10 episode series, get it over 3 nights. I space that shit out.
That tough, huh?
Because, oh man, and the thing is that 90% of what's in that show absolutely happened, has happened, could happen, will happen. Yeah. It's just that other 10% that kind of, I don't want to say helps it along, but gets you into the mind of this African American family to make it really, it brings it home to you, for someone who may not be able to, I don't want to say not empathize, but put yourself into those shoes fully.
Yeah.
Like you can go, yes, racism's bad. Don't say the N-word.
Experience it.
Exactly. It's one of those things. It's like that South Park episode where he goes, the thing is, Token, is that I don't get it. That's right. You don't. And the whole episode is him leading up to that revelation. Oh, of course.
How could I?
How could I possibly get it?
Yeah.
I could get like 3% of it just to have a passing acknowledgement that it exists, but the full experience of it, you got no idea.
Right.
Because you're bathing in that privilege. You're bathing. I don't have to think about X, Y, or Z because I don't have to. And I don't know that I don't have to because I just, it's like a fish in water. Like, water? What's water?
Right. Right.
And this show takes it, and it's worth watching.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to do another series, whether it's going to become an anthology. They left it at a point where they could continue it, I suppose. But I don't know. I kind of think you told what you needed to tell. So unless you've got some really great idea, let it go.
Wow.
So, all right, I'm getting just thinking about that show.
Okay, well,
but a good show. A good show.
Right.
Just be prepared. This is not light viewing.
Yeah.
Not in least. What about your good thing? Let's uplift.
I'll tie it all, everything you just said together.
Yeah.
Supernatural show.
Okay.
that is coming back for a second series.
Okay.
Featuring an angel and demon.
Oh, Good Omens is coming back.
Good
That's
Omens
right.
is coming back.
I never, ever... At the time when people were clamoring for it, Neil Gaiman was like, no, we've told our story. Terry Pratchett's not around anymore. Yeah. And now the story is, well, Terry and I had talked about what we would do, but we never got around to it.
And he said they incorporated some of that stuff into the series because he didn't know they were going to make a second series of it.
You know, and that's the thing. When you get the green light for something, you go for broke.
Yeah.
Because
it was good. And if, he's around at least, he can honor Terry's wishes at least, and he can carry it on. It's not like Amazon is doing it on their own without Gaiman.
Right, exactly.
Well,
but then again, Lindelof did it without I forgot his name. The guy who created Watchmen.
Oh, with Alan Moore.
Alan Moore, that's it.
But there's no possible way of
Alan Moore's like, I'm going to cash the check and then fuck off.
And I'm going to yell about it the whole time.
Exactly.
So speaking of that, I watched the first series of a show called Staged. Okay.
Oh, I think I have that in my queue.
It is brilliant. It is. So in the pandemic, all of our friends tried to figure out how to do things online, shows online, and online content, and online this and online that. What they did, it's Michael Sheen and David Tennant.
Yes, it is.
And Georgia Tennant and Anna Lundberg. They wrote a story about them being in lockdown, filmed basically in Zoom or in a video chat. And they wrote a story about a kind of a mousy producer named Simon who was supposed to do a play with David Tennant and Michael Sheen, and comes to them and wants to rehearse the play on Zoom. And David Tennant is kind of they're very heightened versions of themselves.
Okay.
But it's definitely them, and there's definitely a lot of improv. You can tell.
Oh, good.
And David Tennant's kind of a little weaselly, and Michael Sheen is kind of a little aggressive, and it's absolutely brilliant. There's only 6 episodes in the first series, and they did 2 series, so I don't know what the second series. I haven't gotten to that yet.
Okay.
It's a quick watch, and it's absolutely brilliant because it's so prescient of what was going on last year, but it's entertaining as well. And there are some unexpected guest stars, and it's amazing.
That's the thing if you're doing something in the quote unquote the Zoom format, you can get anybody.
Pretty much.
Just like, hey, get in front of your computer and do this for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, John Oliver has had constant cameos by George Clooney throughout the whole thing, premised on the idea that if he ever snaps his fingers, Clooney is obligated to appear, and he does. And 9 times out of 10, oh, sorry, George. And George is always doing something wacky or reading Proust and looks up like, not now, John. And the fact that the creative community went, we can't be together, huh? We're going to use that to our advantage.
Right, exactly.
We're not going to stop being creative. We're creative people. We have to do what we do, but we're going to do it within the limitations.
There was a big discussion online last year of some of the artist community, and someone was complaining about, now everyone's jumping on this Zoom bandwagon and this and that, and I had to engage, and I just said, that's what we do. If we didn't have this, we'd be out performing in our backyards. Right. We're creative people. We do this. So it's just another avenue, and it's going to open up a whole new thing, which is what we do. We create new things.
I mean, pictures will be fine forever. This new television fad will go away. Like, no, we adapt and we go.
Yeah. And
the pandemic, whatever.
Right. And we watched a lot of online content, and some of it was good and some of it was bad, and the tech didn't work on some of it. And this is definitely a BBC television show.
That Rocky Horror tribute thing that was done was just...
I don't know if I saw that.
They basically did a
reading with Tim Curry.
Tim Curry showed up, and there was a lag in the audio, and of course he's recovering from a stroke.
Yeah.
And it was just, and 90% of the time, Little Nell had to basically just read everyone's lines.
Because it didn't work. So, yeah.
So sometimes it works brilliantly.
Right.
Other times, it's a fucking train wreck.
This is absolutely worth it. It was actually, it was hilarious when they were being themselves, and it's a good story. Like there's a nice little arc that goes through it and the whole thing. So
I'm a big fan of that. Now, one of these old TV shows that have been off the air for years and years and years. Apparently, they have in the can a thing they did on Zoom.
Okay.
That hasn't come out yet. It got every original cast member back. Care to guess what the show is?
It could be anything.
Yeah. The name of the show is...
Medication time. Medication time.
We ran out of time. I will tell you next month.
The 9 Billion Names of Pod was conceived, written, and performed by Michael Reed and Dan Bauman, with Abdul Beni Hassan as the sound of splintering wood. Research, transportation, and exasperated looks by Courtney Lonan. Technical assistance by Cubase, Pro Tools, Skynet, QLab, Deep Thought, Big Brother, and Eddie, your shipboard computer. Financial consideration provided by the Wayne Foundation, Stark Industries, the Piranha Brothers, and LexCorp. Legal counsel by the offices of Howard & Fine. This year's Dragon Con will take place in the TVA. Because it's the fucking Marriott downtown Atlanta.
Lovely.
Our intro music was written by Tim Akers. This podcast was sponsored by Deep Shag Records and is a production of Audio Primate. Throw us a couple stars on iTunes, why don't you? Listen, watch on YouTube. Stream us on Spotify. Listen on Soundcloud. Stream us on Stitcher. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Or email us, comlink@billionpod.com. And until this happens again, I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm Michael Reed.
LOZ!
Audio Primate.